What is going on, guys? Today we're going to be talking about reigning NBA champion and four-time MVP LeBron James. Now, while LeBron has had great success in both Miami and in Cleveland, something about his situation on both teams has led me to believe that we haven't yet seen the best performance or the best fit for LeBron's talents. While he's been successful regardless of where he's been, he hasn't been consistently happy with his teammates, his coach, or even himself throughout his career. Whether that's due to bad personnel fit or bad coaching, it's quite possible that we haven't seen the best utilization of LeBron's talents, and LeBron seems to know it. Throughout his career, and especially recently, LeBron has expressed praise for Greg Popovich and the Spurs, and it seems to me that the Spurs culture and play style may be the only optimal fit for LeBron James. So before I show how LeBron would look on the Spurs, let me first explain why I think LeBron hasn't been showcased to the best of his abilities. The first thing that would change if LeBron went to the Spurs is that they would play a much more team-oriented game than LeBron is used to. Here's a chart of the Hero Ball Index that ranked every team from the past 6 seasons, where a high index indicates a more selfish or isolation-based team, whereas a lower index shows a more even shot distribution and team-based approach. As you can see, the Cavs in the last 2 years rank very high on this list, whereas the Spurs are basically on the opposite end of the spectrum. Let's look now at how LeBron is being used on offense, and you would be shocked at how many of the Cavs set plays are just designed ISOs for LeBron. Here's a play the Cavs run called 3 down that is just a post up for LeBron, and as you saw from that chart, LeBron is isolating almost 20% of his offensive plays, which is 6th most in the NBA. And while this works out a lot of the time because he's LeBron James, isolation is the least efficient play type in the NBA, and most NBA teams nowadays use it as a bailout after the set play has failed. I actually did a breakdown last month on Kawhi Leonard's isolations and found that while he does isolate a lot, most of his isolations are bailout type situations, whereas LeBron's are a designed part of the offense. And what this ends up doing is limiting LeBron's potential on offense and preventing him from using some of his best skills, namely his passing and his court vision. LeBron is a guy who, given his strength and sheer vision of the court, is able to make passes that very few players in the league are able to make. Especially from out of the high post, LeBron is one of the best passers the game has ever seen. So lastly, I think that the personnel on the Cavs are not a great fit for LeBron, as the depth of big men forces LeBron to play the vast majority of his minutes at the small forward, which limits his floor spacing and clearly makes him far less effective, as you can see from this table. Next up is a stat from Nick Sciria, who's a great follow on Twitter. You guys should definitely follow him if you don't already. But it shows that LeBron's DRE, or daily real adjusted plus minus estimate, his differential from power forward to small forward ranks 9th in the league in terms of difference between one position to another. Now let's get into the X's and O's of the Spurs offense. So one of their most run plays is called motion weak, and if you're familiar with the Spurs or the NBA in general, you've probably seen this play before. But what you notice is that the cross screen down low is extremely effective at getting deep post position for the Spurs, and this would actually be perfect for LeBron James. As a matter of fact, the Cavs actually run this play every so often, and here it gets LeBron great post position where he attracts a double team and is able to kick out to Kevin Love for the open jumper. But what makes the Spurs motion week different from any other team in the NBA is the variations and wrinkles that they include, such as the one here where the ball gets reversed back to the trailer Boris Diaw, who will get a ball screen which gives him an easy lane to the basket, and one can only imagine if LeBron had received this ball screen with that open lane to the basket. Next here is the Spurs play called Motion Weak Thunder, where the power forward will fake the cross screen and instead receive a down screen from the center, which is a nightmare for teams to try and defend as it is. But imagine if LeBron were coming up to receive the ball with space and ready to attack the basket like Boris Diaw does here. Same action here, and again look at how much space Diaw is able to get after coming off of the down screen, and there are very few teams in the NBA who would be able to defend LeBron out of this action. The next action I want to look at is the Spurs hammer play, and if you don't know what that is, it is the pass along the baseline with a down screen on the weak side, and it usually gets them a great look at a wide open corner 3, and they run this play both off of baseline drives and out of post-ups, mainly for Boris Diaw, and you can easily imagine LeBron making these passes from either the drive or the post-up, as there are very few players in the NBA with the skill and precision to make a pass while also being a legitimate threat to drive or post-up in either scenario. I also want to look at the Spurs play called shuffle. Basically what happens on this play is the point guard will pass to the center and the power forward will screen for the small forward who will basket cut, and this play gets the Spurs an alley-oop for Kawhi Leonard an astounding amount of the time. He's basically just able to use his athleticism to rise over the defense and catch the alley-oop, and you can very easily imagine LeBron either throwing the pass or being on the receiving end of it. But looking at the secondary option, this is where things get interesting. When the alley-oop isn't there, the next option is to swing the ball back to the middle and have Kawhi screen for, in this case, Duncan, but could also be LeBron James. This option works a lot, mainly because the defense is rarely expecting it, but if LeBron were on the Spurs, this alley-oop option would be lethal. Miss a step and LeBron is already catching the alley-oop, over help and Kawhi has a wide open look for a three. There are more options in the shuffle play, but I want to look forward and look at the next action where LeBron would be a great fit for the Spurs. This is a play that they run a lot to get high-low action for Duncan and Aldridge, and the beauty of having LeBron is that he could fill either role here. He could seal his man down low, or deliver a smooth entry pass to the center. This play will always start with a pass to the wing by Tony Parker, and then he will UCLA cut as Duncan steps out, and Aldridge seals his man down low to receive the pass. Another area I want to touch on is the Spurs transition game, which has faded drastically as the Spurs have aged and become slightly less athletic as a group, and the Spurs ranked 18th in the NBA in transition points per possession last year, and let's look at some film and see exactly why that is. Here, notice Mills gets the rebound and heads down on 3-on-2, but he's hesitant to attack amongst the trees, so he kicks to Kawhi, who settles for a contested 3 in a 3-on-2 fast break. On this play again, notice Parker's hesitant to attack the backpedaling Vince Carter, so instead he chooses to back it out and reset the offense. Now compare those plays to these, where LeBron simply imposes his will in transition and attacks the defense because he's bigger, faster, and stronger than them. LeBron by himself could have made a huge difference for the Spurs transition game and would have added a whole new dynamic to their offense. Lastly, I want to look at how the Spurs could have used the duo of LeBron James and Kawhi Leonard as a threat in their offense. And here's a set the Cavs run called Horns Rub, where the two forwards will be stationed at the elbows, and one will receive a rip screen to the basket. And this play is extremely tough to defend when you have two athletic wings in the game, and especially one who can pass like LeBron James. Notice here the benefit of the shooting big to ensure proper floor spacing, and it's something that the Spurs would have absolutely been able to provide. And when the basket cut isn't there, the Cavs flow this into a pick and roll with the point guard, and you can easily imagine Tony Parker being on the other side of this alley-oop. Lastly, it's crucial to give guys like LeBron and Kawhi opportunities to attack on the catch, and this is a set I saw the Heat run with Dwayne Wade and LeBron, where Wade will ram screen for Bosh and then sets a ball screen for LeBron, who then flows into a dribble handoff with Wade, and this gives Wade a great opportunity to showcase his quickness off the catch and get to the basket. That's all I got for you today, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and leave me a comment if you think LeBron on the Spurs could be better than Kevin Durant on the Warriors. Thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it.